Well, hello, everyone. Been a while. Oh, this isn't a video that I wanted to have to do, and probably why it's taken me 2 weeks to do it. That and I've also been so busy that every time I'm like, I'm going to sit down and do a video and not do videos while I'm driving, trying not to have that habit anymore. I just didn't ever find the time because I was always working, taking care of children, or just being too exhausted to do anything else. So, IVF got canceled. So, my last video, I stated that I had 4 follicles, 2 on each side, but they were kind of small, and my estrogen level was kind of low. And so we were going to go on Thursday, and I was going to do another ultrasound, and if my level did not go any higher, we were probably going to have to move to not doing IVF, because basically if I don't have follicles that are growing that I could get mature enough to even do IVF, we can't do IVF. And sure enough, Thursday my follicles did not grow. Were the exact same size they were on Tuesday, and my estrogen was even lower than it was on Tuesday. So IVF got canceled, and I was completely devastated. Cried a lot for the next 2 days after that news, like a lot. Was very, very weepy, very upset. Basically, I mean, it feels like your body's betraying you. It feels like your body is not doing the bare minimum it's supposed to be able to do, which is supposed to be able to make a baby. And the fact that my body is not responding to treatment, I mean, and is frustrating. And the fact that I can make follicles naturally on my own, mature follicles naturally on my own, but I can't make multiple follicles with medical intervention, is really maddening and really angering. And I've had a lot of discussions with God about how unhappy I am with the outcome of this, because it feels like a betrayal to have this dream and this desire so strongly, and to have the answer just completely be no. So I stopped my medications. We didn't do the retrieval. I was due to do the retrieval sometime in the last week if we had done it. Didn't do any of my other medications, and then just kind of processed for a couple days. I had a meeting with my doctor last week, and we kind of decided to discuss our options. He did not feel that IVF would probably going to be an option, because my body wasn't responding to this medication, this minimum medication. Jacking up the medication doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be any better. So I already did put in for a second opinion, and so I do have in a little over a month, I do have another doctor's meeting with a different doctor, with a different clinic, just to see if there's anything that they think that should be done differently, could have been done differently, and if they have any different protocols that they think would work better. The doctor just said, if this happens, he goes, it happens a lot with women who have low ovarian output. Clomid, instead of ramping it up, almost seemed to do the opposite, and doesn't seem to kind of hamper growth instead of kind of increasing it. And yeah, I was really hoping for a miracle and a pleasant surprise. We always knew we weren't going to get a lot of follicles, or at least we were technically not supposed to be able to. I mean, obviously, I was praying for a miracle, and I was praying for just an incredible increase of follicles, but I would have been happy with 4. So when they didn't grow, it just, yeah. And he said it happened with low ovarian reserve, that sometimes the medications just don't work, and they don't respond. Which is what it seemed to be what happened with me. So then our options became, okay, well, what do we do next? What do we do to, what are our other options? So for now, I do have another vial of sperm that I need to use. So we actually are going to do a 6th IUI. And I'm admittedly trepidatious about it, just because, I've had 5. 2 were chemical miscarriages, chemical pregnancies, and we don't know why. I mean, the likelihood that they were genetically abnormal. And so if almost all my all my follicles are going to be genetically abnormal, I can make follicles until kingdom come, but they're just not going to be compatible with life. And there's no way to know that before an IUI unless you're doing an IVF transfer. So, And then the other option is embryo adoption, which actually is an option that I'm willing and was willing to do. And I already talked to the nurse about it, and I already talked to, already got the kind of what it all looked like. The only catch is that my clinic does their embryo their embryo donation in-house, which means that basically prior clinic members, basically who were treated at my clinic, are no longer using their embryos, donated their embryos, and so all the embryos were created at my clinic, which is great. And I love that. I like that idea that it was done with people I trust. The catch is that many of them are slightly older and were frozen before the genetic technology that we have now, which means they cannot be thawed they don't thaw them to do embryonic testing. So some clinics do. Some clinics will take older eggs and will do, but the risk is that basically you lose the embryo because it's already been thawed. It's already been frozen and thawed, and it's like anything. You freeze it, you thaw. You freeze it, you thaw it. You're allowing things to go wrong in the process. So they don't do that. They do have some embryos that occasionally come up that have been genetically tested, and that is an option, but sometimes you have to wait for that. And so we talked about that. I did get the financials for that today, and it may not be as great an option as I thought it was because of the financials of it. The financials of it are pretty steep, actually. I didn't anticipate to be how steep they are, and it's a big risk. I mean, when I was going to do the frozen embryos, we were going to do genetic testing. So that's the biggest reason why the embryos were going to be frozen, because they were going to be tested and then frozen. We weren't, and you have to do an embryo. You have to freeze them, basically. You can't just like let them chill and grow while you're doing the testing. So you have to freeze them. And so we can't do that. And so that's a big financial risk to take, at least with IVF and me doing the testing. I knew I was going to know that these are mine. These are my follicles and my embryos, and they are genetically normal and compatible with life. And so I knew from the get-go, before the transfer, that we were going to be transferring a genetically normal embryo. I don't have that assurance with embryo adoption, and I don't like that, if I'm being very honest. I don't like not having that guarantee. At least there's no guarantee that the transfer will be successful, which is fine, but to transfer a genetically abnormal embryo and pay all that money is a pretty big financial risk. So that's where I am at right now. I am currently waiting for the IUI, so just waiting for my cycle, and then we can begin the process of doing the IUI, and hopefully the IUI works, and there's no need for an embryo transfer or embryo adoption. And the other catch is, with my clinic, the embryo adoption is not billable to insurance, which I don't understand, because I can understand why the embryo is not transferable, or it's not insurable, but why the embryo transfer is not insurable, it makes no sense to me. So that's the other aspect of this that I'm like, I'm a little bummed. I was kind of like, okay, IUI, and if that doesn't work, we'll move forward with adoption. And now even adoption just kind of seems not that great and not that viable. So, yeah, it's been a long road, and I don't know if the road is coming to an end. I don't know if we're there yet, but it's definitely coming to work toward a conclusion, probably in the next couple months. So thanks for sticking around till the end of the video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Subscribing means that it gets more people in the algorithm, which means it brings more people to my channel, which means I can grow my channel. So I'm happy to continue to making the content, and I definitely want to make more content, but I need subscribers to get that all going. So alright, I thank you for your time. Have a good day.